Some of you have been waiting for this video since the pickle episode. Some of you don't have a clue what I'm talking about. If you just found the channel within the last couple weeks, I've mostly been either fixing things or talking about fixing things. So you might not know that I actually tell a lot of stories. I told a story a while back and I said to some people, well, there's more to the story, I'll tell you sometime. And they've been nagging me, so today's the sometime. Let's just call it the Bully Tour. Now that sounds kind of grim, I know. Do you really want to see something called a Bully Tour? Well, I think you do, because this story ends different than you think. Let's start here at Our Lady, Comforter of the Afflicted Catholic School. It's the first day of first grade and I am so excited because I love to learn. I'm 6, about to be 7. Sister Stephen, our teacher, says she's going to divide the class into 4 groups so that we can learn to read. Group 1 have to be able to spell all these complicated words on a list. Group 4 kids don't really even need to know how to spell their own name. Group 2 and 3 are in the middle. Oh, I already know how to read, I blurt out, but Sister Stephen does not really look so thrilled with that information. You don't know how to read, you're only 7. I'm only 6, and yeah, I can. So she gives me this book so I can prove it, and it's like one of those See Jane Run kind of books, but I'm on like page 4 and she rips it out of my hand and says, You're named after the mother of Jesus. You need to learn to stop being so vain. For my vanity, I get punished by being put in group 4 with the kids who can't spell their own names. For the record, mine is M-A-R-Y, and I can spell every word on her list. It's in your anatomy. 2nd grade, it's time to learn to write longhand. Everyone goes to the board and writes their name, except me. I'm not allowed. And the nuns make me do my penmanship in a classroom alone while the other kids are outside for recess. One nun tells me, well, we can't let the other children see what you're doing because we don't want them to think it's okay, because it's evil and it will lead you straight to hell. When you're 7 and a nun tells you what you're doing is evil, and you're not doing anything except writing the quick brown fox and being yourself, well, the other kids are writing too, so there's only one thing left, and that's you. Just being you is evil. It's in your anatomy. It's in who you are. Why would this happen? Why are nuns targeting a child? Well, I went to school shortly after Vatican II. The church changed really quickly, like almost overnight. Masses in English instead of Latin, folk guitars in church, lefties, left-handed people. The right hand is the hand of God, and the left hand is the hand of Satan. There's no official policy that says this, but if you were left-handed in Catholic school before Vatican II, they just made you learn to use your right hand. Not always the best methods, but it was no big deal. After Vatican II, they couldn't make you write with your right hand. They had to let you be a lefty. No one said they had to like it. So every day, day after day, they told me, either write out loud or with actions, that I was evil and I was going to hell. It's hard to take seriously once you know that that's the deal. I mean, it's superstition of the lowest kind, but I didn't know that was why they were saying that. I just thought something was wrong with me. Because little kids, the message got in there before I ever even learned to laugh at it. Flash forward a few years and it's another first day. It's my first day going here, MacArthur Elementary School, and I'm so excited because I'm going to be riding the bus with kids from my neighborhood. They mostly go to public school. So I'm at the bus stop. I start hearing some giggling and whispering, and it seems like it's aimed at me, but it can't be. These people are my friends, or at least they're my neighbors. All of a sudden, I feel a breeze up my butt, and I turn to see Kevin Barndale, the class clown, who lives right up the street. I see him lifting my skirt with a long stick, showing my underwear to everyone. It's the funniest thing in the world! By the time that 2-mile bus ride was over, I was a pariah. For the next 3 years, it's a daily trial by fire on that school bus. The ringleader is Kevin Barndale, never failing to find a way to make torturing me funny. It's mostly not physical, though. It's mental, and it's very, very creative. You already know about the pickle thing, and if you don't, you can watch that episode after this one. Remember those packets of hot cocoa mix, like the brown powder that you add hot water to? I don't think we had access to hot water at school, but everybody brought one of those on this one day, and they take turns ripping the packets open, dumping the powder on my head. I remember finding miniature marshmallows in the collar of my dress during class. My parents told me, just ignore them and they'll stop. And they did stop after 3 years when we got here, junior high. As the schools get bigger, maybe I blend in more, maybe they start worrying more about their own standing. Then high school, even bigger. I'm not popular, but I've got a few friends, mostly boys from the AV club and girls from concert choir. But I have this way of burning the best friendships down. I'm needy and depressed and I try too hard, but also I push you away because, remember, I'm evil. I'm done learning like school style. I have new things to learn now. I find that I fit in best with the type of person who smokes pot behind the school instead of going to class, so I have to learn how to smoke pot. I didn't have to learn how to drink. That comes naturally, just as naturally as reading or breathing. I religiously attend drama and music, but pretty much everything else is on the permanent skip list. I'm not really sure how I graduated, but I did. In fact, I was class poet.
Cover your eyes and cover your soul.
Fast forward to any random year of me out in the world. I moved to the city on my own at 17. I worked at a radio station, I'm doing theater, I'm in a band, and I'm also in the throes of an eating disorder and drinking heavily and doing a lot of drugs until I can't anymore. Then, thank God, I got sober right around age 30. I did 12-step work, and it seemed like I dealt with all that stuff. You know, I regularly spoke from the podium about how funny that left-hand thing was and how I'd forgiven my bullies, how I was actually kind of grateful to them because they made me who I am, and I love who I am. I was full of shit.
It's in your anatomy. It's in who
Flash forward again. We land here at this hotel. High school is 20 years in the rearview mirror, and I'm here for my class reunion. It's not the first one I've gone to. I don't know why I like to go. At least I didn't until this time. This time I figured out why I kept returning. I'm just finishing my meal when I realize someone is standing beside me. It's Kevin Barndale. I'm surprised to see him. I don't think I've seen him since high school, where he was still the class clown and also on the football team. Maybe he doesn't recognize me, but he looks exactly the same. "Can I talk to you?" he says. It's a surreal moment. I'm in some little conference room across the table from this person who made my life hell for so many years, and he's nervous. "Not a day goes by that I don't think about what I did to you when we were kids," he says. My first reaction is, "Shut up, I'm over it. You don't have that kind of power." I don't want to make excuses for myself, he says, but I do want to answer any questions you might have. So, if there's anything you want to know, before I even realize I'm saying it, I'm like, yeah, there's something I want to know. Why me? Kevin answers carefully, like he's not quite sure how this is going to land. "Because I knew you wouldn't fight back," he says, "and no one else would fight for you. I needed to know that there wasn't going to be a fight." So many things rush into my head. All those times I was told, ignore them and they'll stop. I should have been fighting. I should have. But then I realized, no, that's not really what he's saying. It's not what I know is true. What I know is true is that I wouldn't have stood up for myself, even if I'd made a fist and physically fought. See, because I already knew I was evil. By the time I came up against Kevin, that lie had already dug a groove in my brain, and every day I gave Kevin permission because I knew it was what I deserved. I asked him why he needed a victim, and he told me what had been going on in his house. His parents' divorce, his father's violence. I started to see this child who was so fragile, just as sensitive as I was, who had the good fortune to possess the thick skin of funny, and the good sense to aim his anger out at the world instead of in. I didn't have those things. His story wasn't really surprising. I had suspected it was something like that. But sitting there and realizing that we were two kids with voices just stuck on repeat. You know, mine was from these women in black. His were from the members of his own family, people under his own roof. I didn't feel sorry for him exactly. I did forgive him, but I think I'd done that a long time ago. What I hadn't done, what sitting there with him showed me in a way that nothing else had shown me, what I hadn't done was forgive myself. I realized how deep the punishment I'd been laying on myself had been. I was so angry, but not at them. I was angry at me because I did not have my own back. I was angry that I believed that lie. I was only 7. I was a baby, but those nuns, I mean, Sister Stephen, she was maybe 22 at the most, and they had beliefs that to me seemed crazy, but they didn't put those ideas in my head to hurt me. They put those ideas in my head because they thought they were true. And here I was, 20 years out of high school, grown woman, putting that same stuff on myself every single day. Okay, I'm editing this video right now, and I had to stop because I realized that I forgot something really important that happened on the way back to my table. I'm walking back to the table and I hear these women. I don't know how did I forget to put this in? I hear these women calling, "Mary, Mary," and I turn around and there's a table full of cheerleaders. So I'm looking to see who's this other Mary that they're talking to. They're like, "No, you, come sit with us." So I did, because the night can't get any weirder, right? So I sit down with the cheerleaders, and they're drunk. They're very drunk, and they decide to tell me exactly what they thought of me when we were in school. So they said, I don't even know who said it. Like, in my head, they all said it in unison, but I don't think they did. They said, "You were the only person in that school who was completely confident. You knew exactly who you were. You didn't care what anybody thought. You just wore your little outfits, and you didn't even try to be stylish. You had your little paisley tights, and you were happy, and you didn't care what we thought." We were lemmings following each other off a cliff. Okay, that is not how I felt in high school at all. I would not use the word confident. I wanted an invitation to the lemming party. I don't possess the conformity gene. And if I could have gotten an injection when I was in high school that would have made me like a regular, normal person, I would gladly have gotten it. It took me years to embrace the weirdo that I am. This is not how I thought these girls were looking at me at all. I mean, if they spoke to me in high school ever, it was to make some kind of snide remark about those little outfits, and they just really didn't talk to me at all because I was beneath them because they were cheerleaders. Now 20 years and a bunch of liquor has broken that wall down, and they're telling me something I never would have imagined. They're telling me what they saw. They saw a person who was independent, who made bold choices and respected her own choices, and that's me. I mean, that is me. It's not a me I could see then, and I still don't see her all that much now, but I know that that's me. They saw me. Even back then, they saw me. I'm embarrassed to say that I never really saw them. They might as well have been cardboard cutouts to me. You know, until I went to that reunion. We didn't keep in touch. We didn't become friends. Well, we might be friends on Facebook. If we are, I'm sure they'll see this. Hi. But the point isn't that we forged some, like, awesome, lasting bond. The point is that we saw each other. Like, even if it was for only 5 minutes, we saw each other. As polarized as we are in this country, as divided by politics and ideologies, we gotta start seeing each other again. Because it is just way too easy to disrespect somebody that's basically like a cartoon character to us. I mean, these cheerleaders, they showed me pictures of their kids. They're not cardboard cutouts anymore. You know, it wasn't like some miraculous night where the nuns just magically evacuated my head, and they're still in there. They're still chattering, and sometimes though when they get going, when they start telling me I'm going to hell, I can counter with a cheerleader saying I rock paisley tights. Okay, you can watch the pickle video now. There it is. I'll see you over there.